You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Let's go to Texas. A former Dallas County prosecutor is disbarred from practicing law in Texas, withholding vital evidence in a case where two homeless black men were sentenced to life in prison. Richard Jackson surrendered his law license after the Supreme Court of Texas concluded that he failed to inform Dennis Allen and Stanley Mosey's defense attorneys about evidence that could have cleared them at their capital murder trials in 2000. The men spent 14 years in prison for the fatal stabbing of a pastor. They were released in 2014 after DNA testing helped clear them. According to the Innocence Project, Jackson is one of just 4 prosecutors disbarred for misconduct that resulted in a wrongful conviction. See, this is the thing I was talking about earlier with the North Carolina story. Avis, the DA is supposed to uphold the law. The Supreme Court above, at the top of the building says equal justice under law. And here we have a white prosecutor so hell-bent on a conviction that withholds evidence. This guy spent 14 years in prison, and they didn't do it.
Absolutely. And what's really harrowing to me is the logical leap that one could take that, what are the odds that this is the only time he did this and this happened to be caught? I mean, I believe that all of the cases that he prosecuted should be examined deeply, because I can guarantee you this was not a one-time thing. As you've just mentioned, the goal here was to get a conviction. The goal was not to get justice. The goal was to get anyone they could get to find guilty by any means necessary, even if that meant to keep out of the hands of the defense or to the judge or anyone else evidence that they had, which specifically showed that these were not the people that were guilty of that heinous crime. So, to me, I'm glad that he's disbarred, but that's not all that needs to happen. They need to go back and make sure that every case that he prosecuted is examined, because I can guarantee you other people are sitting in jail today that shouldn't be there.
See, this is part of the problem, Julian. Prosecutors want us to trust their judgment. They want us to trust that things were done above board. And this DA withholds evidence. Could have cleared these guys. Totally ignores it. And they go to jail for 14 years. All he gets is being disbarred. I'm sorry. To me, this is where you actually put a law in that if a DA withholds evidence, they should go to jail.
Well, I'm with you on that. I really do think this guy needs to spend some jail time. It's absurd that he deliberately withheld evidence. It's not like the cases where somebody made a mistake, where someone come back, 5 years later and says a mistaken identity or something like that. This is willful, evil withholding of evidence that cost these brothers, 14 years. They should be paid. Not only should they be paid, he should spend some time up under the jail.
Teresa.
Yeah, I agree. Legislators, this is the time to act. If anybody was looking for a case within their state to actually stand up for justice, stand up for reform, this would be the case. Because you have, again, across the country, you have some prosecutors who are new to the, new to the bench in so many ways, but new to being a prosecutor. And they have a conviction record that they have to meet. Those are goals that they have to meet. And unfortunately, these 2 young men, I believe the crime was stabbing 47 times a black pastor. And it's like, well, one, this is the character train that this person is obviously something's going on in their mind, when really these kids are just wrongfully convicted. So now not only do they have, the psych evaluations that probably did come to them in the 14 years that they were in prison, but now they have this notion and this character assassination that they're going to have to rebrand themselves as, as being sane. because this is a heinous act. So again, I think if any legislator was able to step up and say, look, I want to put a law to make sure not only is this prosecutor getting disbarred, but we're now putting a law in to make sure that anybody that takes this position moving forward now receives the same equal justice. And that includes prison time and any other crimes that they deem fit that fits the crime that happens in the future.
Absolutely. So it's just sad that they had to spend 14 years in prison for a crime they didn't commit because you had an unethical prosecutor who now does not have his law license. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.